Hey guys, it's me, Ryan. Just thought I would go over a few things. Basically, my feelings right now in the Las Vegas shooting, and as well as the community that's investigating the Las Vegas shooting. You know, there are many of us who believe, at least they believe, that there was a lot more that happened that night than the police are letting on. You know, and I guess my feelings are this, while it's not yet been proven, if there was anybody else other than Paddock, responsible for this shooting. I'm not 100% sure Paddock fired a shot. I feel like, yeah, he probably did, but then, those documents came out that Laura Loomer, forgive me, Laura, that she had gotten her hands on was transcripts from, one of the officers, statements, and apparently he was in the room when they eventually breached the room, which is beyond me why it took them over an hour to breach the room. I haven't figured that out yet, and I really don't think there is a real good reason why. Not a good reason why. I'm sure there's a reason why, but not a good one. But then one of those officers said that he was instructed to roll the body to try to find a phone and try to find identification, but to try to find a phone as well that might have contacts of other people that were involved that night, because at the time, you remember, they were still getting calls, from up and down the strip, 911 calls, that there were other shooters in other places, and that in itself is kind of is strange, but then, because he moved the body, but then, he also mentioned that the body looked to have been dead long before the shot, before the massacre. He felt like that he had been dead too long for him to be the one that was doing the shooting. Now, that might just be a personal opinion of his. I don't know, but you'd think as an officer he would have, at least some inclination on, how long the body had been dead, since he was the one that actually moved the body. He would know what stage of rigor it was in and that sort of thing. But not just that, there's been several things that the LVMPD and FBI have obviously tried to cover up, and if they're sticking by this story of it was Paddock alone, Paddock, they're sticking to that story then, and he's dead, well, then there's there's no investigation to be to jeopardize. So why not release everything you've got? And who is the cop picking up shell casings on the street? Did they do follow-ups with those other the ladies that were registered to the room? And why haven't we heard anything about them? Even if they didn't want to divulge their full names, they could at least divulge their testimony, and what they had to say about the whole deal. If they even exist, maybe they didn't exist, but I tend to think that they did exist and they were staying with Stephen Paddock because, as our dear friend 10:05 p.m. has pointed out, somebody slept in 134, and it was not Stephen Paddock, because it was a shorter person than him, and not to mention all the ladies' clothing in the store, or that he bought from the store, that was in the van, and the women's clothing all over the hotel room. So either Stephen Paddock was a stud, or they might have been something more nefarious going on, or even the ladies were just friends of his. But either way, there was other people in that room at least at some point during his stay. And if that was the case, and he's got all those guns and all that ammunition up in his room, even if they're in suitcases, it looks like the girls would have been suspicious, of what were in the suitcases and things of that sort. Now, I think it's possible that it was a drug deal gone bad. I think he may have been set up. Paddock may have been set up, saying, "Hey, yeah, I got a arms deal set up for you, and this, that, and the other." And they patsied him into bringing the guns and ammunition. And once the guns and ammunition were up there, then they killed Paddock, do the massacre, and leave and let him take the fall for it. And good old Sheriff Lombardo is helping him out by pushing that narrative. And I really just don't think that that's the whole story. Now, what the whole story is, I have no idea. Some people have the hypothesis that it was a drill that was hijacked. No, I doubt it. But now, man, anything's possible. It's possible, but I seriously doubt it. Now, those people who say nobody got killed, I couldn't agree with you any less. People definitely got killed. People definitely got injured. I think 10:05 said it best when he said, of all the people that were there that night, if there was a drill going on, there's no way that they could have kept that secret. It would have been out by now. So I believe that that everything about it was real. Now, which begs the question: if it was real, and Paddock supposedly doesn't have a motive. Now, I don't believe that. I believe that the motive is something that the hotel's trying to keep quiet, and therefore Sheriff Lombardo and the police department's trying to keep quiet. But what do I know? I'm from Virginia. I've never been to Vegas. I have no plans to go in any time in the near future. More or less because I can't afford to. I'd love to go there and walk around and see the crime scene myself. Or at least see, not the crime scene in the room, but see, where these people died. Pay my respects and so on and so forth. Because I really honestly believe that the LVMPD has not done them a service, has treated them very, very, very unfairly, and they haven't been given their best efforts for these families, and that's a real shame in this country. Americans should have pride. All Americans should have pride in their work, but police officers, if you take that responsibility of being a police officer, I know being a police officer is not an easy job, but if you're willing to take that job and you're willing to take that responsibility, then us as citizens are dependent on you. You know, and when I see a team on, you know, on floor 31 that keep stopping and starting up the hallway, knowing that the gunfire is coming from one level above them, not actually on that level, but yet they're still acting like, you know, creeping along. My feelings is, you know, each one of those gunshots represents another death. And it's like it's not registering to them. Get to the freaking room and kill this guy. Or stop him at least somehow. Arrest him if you can. Not shoot him, but either way, neutralize him. Because every shot he fires is potentially another life. I mean, you know, I've been shooting guns my whole life. And shooting into that crowd, I hate to say, was like shooting fish in a barrel. You didn't have to be a good shot to hit your targets because they, you know, they were packed in so tight, you know. But that's my current thoughts on Vegas. I could get into the whole dispute over Charlton and his theories on some of the YouTube creators supposedly getting his first channel taken down, and he's got wild conspiracies that one of the creators has a son who's a lawyer that's going to benefit greatly from, you know, misinformation given on YouTube and this, that, and the other, and I, man, you know, I honestly believe that most of us creators, I know at least me and the ones that have been doing it a lot longer than me, I know that most of them want to find the truth. They just want the truth. They're sick and tired of being lied to by government. Which kind of leads me into a completely different subject. So, and this subject is the government and what's going on in politics right now. Now, I've got to admit, I'm not deeply political, but at least not until recently. But I see how unfairly they have been treating our president, President Trump, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand how they can look at a man who absolutely had it all, drop-dead gorgeous wife, plenty of money, you know, great company, great kids, you know, and several, you know, a house in Mar-a-Lago, you know, he also had Trump Tower that he stayed at. I mean, he had everything. So, what would be his motivation in running for president if he didn't truly want to help this country? You know, I believe that he honestly wanted to help this country. I think that he's seen that, you know, he has seen the quote unquote deep state, you know, work and screw over the American people for so long that he just flat couldn't take it anymore, and he knew that he was capable of getting the job done. So, and like he said that this country gave him so much, he finally wanted to return the favor. And I completely understand that, and that's a respectable thing. But then you look at the Democrats and Republicans that are never Trumpers and trash Trump, you know, over every little thing. You know, it almost comes across as jealousy, you know. It seems like it's jealousy. And I gotta tell you, you know, jealousy looks good on no one. You know, how Chuck Schumer can stand in front of Congress and talk about how, you know, we need better border protection on our southern border. He did this, I don't know, it was several years back in Obama's time, or maybe even earlier than that, but he was talking about, you know, needing more protection on the southern borders like some kind of a barricade, which those were actually Hillary Clinton's words that she voted to build a barricade on the southern border. But they all, including President Obama, was all for securing our southern borders, just like Trump wants to do right now. The only difference is, the only difference is that Trump wants it too, and Trump supporters want it too. Well, since Trump wants it too, and the Trump supporters want it too, oh no, Democrats, no, we don't, the wall's immoral, and it won't work. Well, I believe it will work. I don't see I just don't see how it couldn't work. Sure, you can fly over it. Some people might even be talented enough to climb over it. And you can, dig tunnels under it, I guess, if you dig far enough underground. The point is, though, that the number of those tunnels are going to be, they're going to be, few and far between, I would imagine. So it'll help our Border Patrol agents zero in on where the tunnels are so they can be on this side of the wall waiting on them to pop out. And then boom, not only are they busted for illegal immigration, but we also found that tunnel they worked so hard to dig out. Point is, the only reason the Democrats don't want the wall is because President Trump does want the wall. Not for any other reason. It's all political. And I don't know about you guys, but I am getting sick and freaking tired of politicians. I was talking to my mother today, and she said, we might not be as highly educated and elite as all these people that have been elected to Congress and the Senate, but there's a whole lot of things that it's just plain common sense that they don't seem to grasp, and they don't seem to want to vote for it. And then you take, like this with this latest midterm election where the House Democrats changed over to being the House Representatives is now being taken, being the majority is Democrats. So they took over the House, what I'm trying to spit out. And that just, there's a couple of them that I do not understand how the Americans, the people who claim to be Americans, could have ever voted them in. And I hate to single her out, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I think that's her name. I've heard it as an occasional Cortex, but I don't think that's her real name. Shame on you guys. Either way, I think she knows it. She's realizing that she's in over her head. But when you realize you're in over your head, keep your mouth shut and learn. Instead of trying to get all quick-witted on people that write stories for a living, journalists, newspaper editors, people of that sort. They write and they all have a pretty good vocabulary, and they're gonna make you look stupid. So my advice to you is, talk a little less. Use this first year in office to kind of learn the ropes. In other words, you're going to be not only the youngest congresswoman ever, but you're also going to serve the shortest term of any congresswoman. And I have to imagine the people in New York that voted you in are so embarrassed because of all the stupid stuff I've heard you say since you got sworn in. well, since you got elected, but when you, especially after you got sworn in, 70% on the rich. Does she not understand that those rich people are the ones that employ the rest of the world? You know, I mean, I don't understand why the Democrats can't get that through their head, you know. If you start taxing the rich 70%, you can kiss them goodbye. They're going to move out of this country, and then you're not going to have any revenue at all. You know, sure, I would like for all kids to have free college and you know, free health care. I'd love free health care for all of us and this, that, and the other, but I don't think it should be at the expense of the rich simply because they worked hard and got ahead in life and started making good money, and now you want to take that away from them? You know, what the hell? It's just wrong. It's just wrong. You know, I don't know. In a utopian society, we wouldn't even need money, you know, because everybody would help each other out. And if we needed roads, a bunch of people would get together and fix the roads. Same goes with the power lines, the cable lines, this, that, and you know, which I know cable and them are all private companies, but still, you know, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen in this country. But anyway, that's my thoughts for right now. Charlton, I hope you reconsider what you've been saying about the community. You know, I disagree with a lot of people in the community over certain issues. But overall, there's a lot more ground that we agree on than what we don't. And since that's the case, I don't want to disparage anybody who is at least trying to find the truth of that night. But one thing you said, you know, that Charlton said that really bothered me was that he believed that the victims, well, he didn't say it flat out like this, but it basically implied it. He said that, you know, he believed the victim, it seemed like he was saying that the victims care more about how much money they're going to get than finding out the truth about what really went down that night, you know, and I realize the laws are different, whether if they call it a domestic terror event over, you know, just an individual murder, but it just feels like that, you know, I just don't know what to say, man. Well, anyway, that's it for now. I would like to, you know, do more videos, do better quality videos. Please consider, you know, donating to help this channel grow. I had a laptop. It blew up on me. I've got to get another one. And being as I'm laid off right now, in between jobs, I'm a relatively poor boy, so I could use your help. If you'd like to see this channel grow so I can bring you more quality videos, you know, such as sharing, you know, information with you. Who knows, I might even get into a little queuing on one of these days when I can, you know, have a little bit better equipment where I can do that more effectively, you know. Right now it's just me and a phone. So hopefully I can get this channel to start growing. Please like, share, and subscribe to my video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please comment below. Give me some advice on what I can do better, and I'll try to accommodate you. And let's just make this channel fun but informative, and I just want the truth. That's all I want. I want the truth to come out. And you know, I'll make a pledge right now. If I make statements that turn out to be false, or you know, which I would never intentionally make a false statement. But however, you know, I might speculate on a hypothesis turns out to be way off base, and I want to be the person that says, well, I screwed that one up. I was wrong about that, you know, and apologize. So, you know, I'm not here to fill people's minds with things that aren't true. I'm not here to, you know, do anything of the sort. You know, I just want to get some, you know, true news out there, and help let people know what most what I believe most Americans, you know, feel like. So, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, like, share, and subscribe, please, and hit that bell for notifications for each time that I upload a new video. And until then, I'll be linking my PayPal account in the description below. Please consider donating to my channel. Like I said, I really need, you know, I'm in between jobs, and I'd really like to get a new computer to you know, help this channel grow. And that way I can entertain you guys much better and give you better news in the process. Thank you very much. Have a good night. It was good to talk to you. Love y'all. And, oh, one more thing. Almost forgot the most important thing. Not only do I love y'all, I love the United States of America. I love the Lord the most. Let us pray for our men and women in overseas, protecting our freedoms overseas. And let us pray for our president, our country as a whole. Our country needs a healing right now. More than I ever remember before. It really needs some healing right now. You know, I don't want a repeat of what happened, you know, when we had the Civil War. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely agreed with the Civil War as far as why it was fought. And very thankful, even though I'm from the South, I'm thankful that the North won because of the abolishment of slavery. I think racism is the most ridiculous thing in the world. God said He made us in His image, you know, and that means each and every one of us. And, you know, He says we're all God's children, so if you're racist, you hate someone for the color of their skin, then you're hating God's son and daughter. You're hating someone who is made in the same image as God. How can you love God whom you haven't seen if you can't love man on earth who you have seen? Good question. Think about it. Alright, thank you folks. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.